Hello, my name is Gordon Huey and I am a Senior Transportation Planner and Engineer for the Municipal Transportation Planning team at R.J. Burnside Associates. I am also the Project Manager for this parking study. We recognize that Clinton is experiencing similar challenges to downtowns and other municipalities related to increasing growth to the area and population intensification, but we also recognize that Clinton is its own unique location and destination within Ontario. We recognize that it's a highly sought-after tourist destination filled with many local businesses and directly adjacent to the shores of Lake Huron. We recognize that although parking challenges are similar to other municipalities, we've been working with municipal staff to ensure that this parking strategy is unique and tailor-made to the municipality itself. The project team consists of a variety of municipal staff and staff from R.J. Burnside Associates. The core project team is shown on this slide. Today I'll be discussing the study purpose, the study scope, which consists of Phase 1 and Phase 2, data collection, parking management components that we are reviewing, what we've heard so far from the public, and our next steps. The purpose of this study is to understand the parking issues that currently exist or are anticipated to exist in Clinton and develop a parking management framework that addresses those issues. The study intends on addressing challenges while supporting the town's objectives such as creating an attractive public realm, supporting economic development, and enhancing accessibility. The study area is within and in close vicinity to the Clinton Business Improvement Area District, shown on the figure on this slide. I will now provide an overview of Phase 1 and Phase 2 of this study. The goal of the first phase is to collect parking-related data within the area. This will provide an understanding of when people are parking and the level of parking demand within the area. Concurrently, we will be engaging residents, businesses, and any stakeholders within the municipality. Based on the data collected and the engagement, we will have an understanding of the parking issues and challenges that Clinton currently faces. Later in the presentation, I will provide you with some ways you can be engaged. The next phase is taking those issues that we have identified, seeing what other comparable jurisdictions have done, and based on our assessment, experience, and understanding, we will develop a range of possible solutions which can involve policies or infrastructure improvements. Those final solutions will form the parking management framework. I will now provide a brief summary of the data that will be collected. The two types of data we are collecting includes parking utilization and parking turnover. Utilization refers to the percentage of the spaces that is occupied by parked vehicles at any given time. Turnover is the number of vehicles that use each parking stall throughout a period of time. So in other words, the more vehicles that use that particular spot during the day, the shorter the average parking duration. Where and when this data will be collected is shown on this slide. Utilization data will be collected along the streets in areas highlighted in red between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Turnover or duration data will be collected in the areas and streets highlighted in yellow. The purpose is to understand how high the parking demand is and when that demand is occurring throughout the day. The next few slides show some of the components of the parking management system that we will be exploring. The most common challenge for downtowns like Clinton are that there are many different types of parking users all competing for the same spots. For example, there are visitors or tourists to the areas, employees of businesses adjacent to the main streets, and residents who live close by or live on top of the first floor that all need parking. All these parking users may, to some degree, rely on the municipal parking supply. They each have their own unique set of needs and wants. For example, visitors often want close and convenient parking, employees require long-term parking throughout the day, and residents want to be able to park overnight. To assist in the development of the parking framework, we'll be looking into the parking duration limits. The parking bylaw defines these limits. Much of the downtown area has 2-hour parking limits from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. There are currently no off-street parking duration limits. The study will be exploring appropriate limits that can balance adequate time for users while optimizing the use of the existing parking supply. This study will also develop a strategy and implementation plan that considers how to best leverage both on-street spaces and parking lots to provide for all users. We will be exploring how programs such as residential parking permits allow residents to park overnight in certain locations. We will also be exploring opportunities for additional spaces to be used for paved parking with marked stalls. We will also be exploring accessibility needs for those with mobility constraints. We want to ensure that there are no barriers between where users want to park and where they want to visit. This section discusses what we've heard so far in our surveys. 2 surveys are currently hosted on centralhuron.ca. One is targeted towards employers and employees and one for residents. They were advertised through social media, mailouts to residents, and emails to businesses through the BIA. The survey is open on November 2nd, 2023, and we have received 223 responses to date, which consists of 186 from residents and 37 from employees. The survey is still open, and we would love to hear your input. You can use the following link, tinyurl.com/Downtown Clinton Parking Study, or scan the QR code on the right of this slide. This slide highlights a few questions we asked in the resident survey. We asked if residents supported planned street closures for more pedestrian-only streets, and 72% said that they supported them. We asked about Clinton residents' parking availability on site, and 15% said that they did not have a parking space in their building or home. We asked Clinton residents if they had enough parking at home, and 25% said they did not. The top issues based on the survey were that vehicles are parked all day taking up spaces on street, not enough parking was available, there was no parking for residents who live in the upstairs apartments, lack of accessible spots, and parking challenges during the wintertime. This slide highlights a few questions we asked in the employer and employee survey. We asked how long employees needed to park, and 84% said that they required parking for longer than 7 hours. We asked if respondents could find parking when they drove to work. 27% said that they always had enough parking when going to work. We asked if employees felt that the 2-hour parking limits were enough for their customers. 57% believed that 2 hours was not enough. Top issues for employees were that there were no long-term or overnight parking spaces for their tenants, no close and convenient parking for customers, 2-hour parking is being used for much longer by residents or businesses, and that there was not enough parking. For our next steps, we will be conducting parking data collection. In December and January, we will be formulating a list of alternative solutions. In January, we will be presenting draft recommendations at a public open house, and we will be finalizing the final parking management strategy. If you have any further questions, comments, or concerns, you can contact Anne-Marie Thompson or myself, Gordon Huey. Our contact information is shown on this slide. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you.